Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first edition of Hugh and Lambsie Talk Pants.
Now, we're not actually going to talk about pants.
No, it's not a fashion.
No,
not a fashion thing.
But we probably can confirm that we are both wearing pants. We're both sitting here in our pants.
We are wearing pants, but again, this is not a fashion guide. Other clothing is available.
I think what we are going to talk about is we're going to talk about our various projects, and we're going to talk pants about proggy things.
Talk pants about something that isn't attire.
Yes, that sounds like a good thing to do. So that's what we're going to do over the next kind of half an hour or so, I suppose.
So if you've really, really nothing better to do, sit down with a cup of tea, a glass of wine, or a little snort of your favourite spirit, or the spirit of your favourite snort, whatever you choose.
Pass me the ibuprofen, and let's get on with the podcast, shall we?
What's the news then, Lambsie?
Well, the news, Hugh, is that we start off with Eppyfest. Eppyfest 7, in fact, which is on the Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th of July. Only a week and a half away, which is very scary.
Very scary indeed.
But it's a very good lineup, so we really want people to come along and attend.
It's a fab lineup, headlined by the legendary The Mighty Gong.
Exactly. And not to forget, on the Friday we have, in the special guest slot, we have the brilliant Neil Campbell doing his acoustic guitar thingy. He went down very well at Eppyfest Mini last year.
Excellent.
And so we've asked him back. And on the Saturday we have
North Sea Radio Orchestra headlining.
Yes, very exciting. Cardiac's links there, of course.
Indeed. And then we have guests Doris Brendel.
Yay. The new Janis Joplin, they're calling her.
Absolutely. Sanguine Hum.
Doing their little acoustic
I was going to say, doing the slimmed down version. Sanguine Hum Light.
Sanguine Hum Light, indeed.
Yeah. The extraordinary Thumper Monkey.
Yeah, we're big fans here, so we're quite pleased that they ended up coming in when we couldn't have Firefly Burning.
Absolutely.
Sadly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who we're also big fans of. But
yeah, and obviously we wanted to replace Firefly Burning with a band in the same ilk. And then we have Lord of Worms.
Yes, who we like a lot.
I think these guys are destined for stardom. I think this might be the only time we'll ever be able to book them. So
yes.
That'd be huge.
Yeah, I know. And opening the Saturday are Fractal Mirror.
Fantastic.
Now, who are coming all the way from Holland as well. Just the two of them, yes.
I was going to say that they're also slimmed down, aren't they?
They are stripped back, I think is the phrase that Ian is using.
Are they not wearing clothes?
We'll all be naked.
All be naked.
So www.eppyfest.co.uk to get your tickets. Please come along if you can. Particularly, obviously, if you live in Gloucestershire. But hey, the more the merrier.
Oh, yeah, because of course the festival is in Cheltenham.
Yeah,
we might have mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, don't go to the drill hall because you might get a nasty shot.
So definitely St Margaret's Hall, Coniston Road, Cheltenham.
And again, that website again, www.eppyfest.co.uk to get your tickets. Thank you very much. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Winter's End.
We can't.
And we can't talk about Winter's End.
Talk about Winter's End
at all. We'd have to kill you.
Yeah, we'd have to kill everyone.
Which would be messy. So all we can say, therefore, is that Winter's End Leap of Faith tickets are still on sale.
They are?
At £110 for the 4-day deal.
Yeah,
and £100 and £100 for the 3 days.
Bloody bargain. I don't know how we do it.
I don't know how we do it either. In fact, let's put the price up. Let's double it now.
We should.
We will be announcing the entire lineup, which is now booked very, very soon, and possibly in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Tickets on sale for the entire festival at the normal prices. Weekend tickets, that is.
Ever so slightly higher than the Leap of Faith tickets.
Yeah.
As a thank you to those good people who bought the Leap of Faith tickets.
Indeed. So it's a brilliant lineup as well, we forgot to say.
Oh, it is a brilliant, brilliant lineup.
We'll keep you informed about that. But if you want to buy Leap of Faith tickets of any sort, www.winters-end.co.uk is where you'll find them full lineup coming very, very, very soon.
On to Summer's End.
Okay, well, the festival is going to start on Friday, October the 5th, and our headliner is I'm really quite excited about this because this is going to be their first gig in the UK. And I'm wondering if it might actually be their first gig. But it's a real prog supergroup.
Yeah.
Moon Particle.
Yeah.
The album is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the first time we've ever booked a headliner completely unseen, untried, purely on the strength of that debut album.
That's true.
But it's not. The band is new, but like I say, this is a bit of a prog supergroup. Led by Nico Sonev, ex Stephen Wilson and Life Signs. Incredible guitar player.
He is.
Absolutely incredible. Now, on the album, there's also Adam Holzman, Theo Travis, of course, and Craig Blundell.
We think we'll have Theo, definitely in the band.
I'm pretty sure that Theo is coming. What we don't know at this stage is who else is going to be in the lineup. But frankly, with the quality of musicianship, of Nico and Theo, but also required to play that album, it's a very complex album.
Yeah.
We're going to have a storming band, whoever it is.
Yeah.
So I personally, I'm quite excited about this one because, like I say, it's something absolutely new.
The album's a little bit jazzier than the stuff you normally like, isn't it? As well?
It is, and my mild disinterest in jazz.
It's been around jazz.
It's legendary, but that's pretty much confined to trad jazz. If I see a clarinet and a bowler hat, I run a mile, and to lounge jazz, which I hate with a passion worthy of a far greater cause. But
I'm going to form a lounge jazz band, I think, just to irritate him.
And then as special guests to Moon Particle, we've got from Holland Sky Architect, which again I'm very excited about because it's great to see youngsters playing.
Yes,
in Prague.
They seem very nice youngsters as well. They're really, 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 really good band.
I was going to say they're
these
really
young bands,
irritatingly talented.
All these young bands really are, aren't they? They're always so irritatingly talented. They seem like lovely, lovely guys as well. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing them as well, actually.
Yeah. So the Friday night, actually, I think is one of our stronger Fridays, to be honest.
Yes, it definitely is. Certainly musically, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't miss it. So.
Okay, so moving swiftly on, Saturday, October the 6th. I can't help but say this with a grin on my face because they're one of my all-time favourite bands. And that'll be Lazuli, or
Lazuli.
However you say it.
They need no introduction, really.
They really don't. They're going to be the third appearance at Summer's End. I'm thrilled to say that their first appearance at Summer's End was their first appearance in the UK.
Yeah.
So we were responsible for bringing them to Britain for their first performance here. And I'm thrilled to have them coming back again.
Yeah. They never disappoint. Landmark will be showcasing their new singer, whoever that may be, whomsoever that may be. We don't know yet.
No.
And I think we think that's going to be their first gig back as well, after quite a long hiatus. So they're always brilliant.
A classic British prog band.
Yeah. Interesting. Next, Frequency Drift from Germany are next, who hopefully they played the festival in 2014 and everybody absolutely loved them. So their new album has just come out and it's really, really good and everybody seems to be loving it.
Letters Tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah. Interesting in that it has decided to go for a much more cinematic sound as opposed to the louder guitars from the last album. But we love them lots.
Before Frequency Drift, we've got Silhouette.
Yes.
Coming back from Holland. This will be their second appearance with us.
Yes.
I love the band. I'm quite excited to see them this time, specifically because they've put in a lead guitarist now to give Brian more opportunity to concentrate on vocals. So it's going to be a different dynamic in the band. And their most recent album has been very well received. It's a good album.
And speaking of new albums that have been very well received, we move on to When Mary from Norway. See what I did there? I segued. Did you see what I did there?
I did.
They are signed to our label.
Very Radio 1.
They are signed to the Sonicbond label, but we signed them based on the strength of hearing the Tainted album.
Yeah.
It was finished before it came to us.
Yeah.
And we thought, I think our jewels dropped a bit.
It's a stunning album. And
Yeah.
if you haven't heard it, log on to Spotify or Apple Music, give it a spin, have a listen to it, and then go and buy it, because it's great.
You can buy it from the band as well, because we get money if you do. So, so they will be opening the Saturday. So moving swiftly onto the Sunday.
Okay, so Sunday, October the 7th, and the headliners are the Little Welsh Wizards, Magenta.
I'm glad you said Wizards there. Yes, they definitely need. This is their 840th appearance, isn't it? So at the festival.
841st?
841st appearance at the festival. So they definitely need no introduction. It's the first time they've actually headlined. This is good, actually. They headlined the first Summer's End, 2005.
They did.
Did they not?
They did.
And here they are. They've actually played special guest slots since then. This is the first time they've actually headlined a day.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things that the festival grew, and Magenta have been growing.
And Magenta plummeted. They didn't.
No, Magenta's status has been going up and up and up, and there's nowhere else we could put them now but as a headliner.
No, and I think they were very happy with that, with those special guest slots at the time as well, because it just took pressure off a little bit. So, but the special guest slot on Sunday is Tim Bonus.
The legendary Tim Bonus, should we say? I
legendary.
We can say that.
Legendary, very gentlemanly Tim Bonus as well.
Yes.
Whose band will also have John Chapman.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing JJ back. We haven't seen him for a few years, since I think the Paul Manel band.
Yeah, I think that's right. And also we have Caprica's Constant on in the afternoon, who are British, feature David Jackson from Van de Graaff Generator. So no chance to see a legend on the Summer's End stage. If you like Big Big Train, there's a fair chance you'll like Caprica's Constant. Though with David Jackson playing, there's a lot more reeds and woodwind and things in the band. He's one of the bedrock of the sound rather than what Big Big Train do. We've got Eden Song, the brilliant Eden Song from the USA in the afternoon. Flying in specially, they're doing a few gigs after Summer's End as well. And they're doing their gigs after Summer's End with, I think Ska Architects are doing one of them, but they're also doing them with Golden Caves. I segued again. Did you see me segue again?
Golden Caves, who will, of course, be opening the festival on the Sunday.
And they're an unbelievably strong opener, really.
They are, I think, one of a very small handful of bands where I've heard an album, or in fact it was one song, and my jaw dropped, and I played it to you, and your jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Because we have quite different musical tastes. The last time I can remember us both being blown away by a band like this was actually Verbal Delirium.
Yeah.
When I sent you a link and said, what do you think of this lot? And you replied saying, I think they're evil geniuses.
Yes.
So Golden Caves probably fall into the same evil genius category.
They do, yeah, in a very, very different way, though. So don't miss them opening the Sunday.
Yeah, fantastic album. Again, stream it, buy it. It's just wicked.
Looking at it again, Sunday is an amazingly strong Sunday. I mean, both days are incredibly strong.
I personally think it may be... I know.
Not a Duff band in there.
I feel this every single year, but I actually genuinely think that Summer's End 2018 is the strongest we've had.
Yeah.
In terms of the lineup, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. So still some tickets left. Not that many, but still some tickets left. We haven't quite sold out yet, so buy them now, people.
Right, well, moving swiftly on. Last week we had the pleasure of seeing one of our Sonicbond artists performing live for the first time.
We did, and it was Talitha Rise.
Absolutely.
And she was marvellous, and we spoke to her just before the gig. So we're here for... What we're here for? We're here for the...
Ledbury Fringe.
Ledbury Fringe Festival. Sorry. So I suppose we better say who we are, really. So
Morsemen. Oh my God.
And some Morsemen are coming past.
But it's the Mary Lloyd.
I was saying that I'm Stephen Lambe and you are?
I'm Hugh Lloyd-Jones.
And we're here with...
Talitha Rise.
Okay, so, Mr. Ross, you've you've just seen the vinyl for the first time
I
this
have.
very evening.
Yes.
The vinyl of your album, which is called
An Abandoned Orchid House.
Well, I'd let you say that. I might have stumbled over it. What do you think?
I'm absolutely thrilled. It's just such an exciting moment to have your final record. You know, I've never had anything on vinyl before, so momentous occasion. Hopefully many more, but you know, you'll never forget your first one.
And it does look and sound fantastic, in fairness.
Thank you very
Yes, it
much.
does. It does. That's very nice of you to say. Yeah, it's come out very well.
Glad
Which
I went
is-
for the gold inner sleeve. That
Yeah.
was a real moment there of, it's gold.
Well, was there a reason for not putting the lyrics in there? No lyric sheet.
No, the reason is because of this book, you see.
Oh yes, the book.
Oh, the book.
Because there is a book, I thought I'd collected the poems that I'd also written at the same time as the album, so I thought I would put them all in there instead, and most people sort of brought the two together. And the idea is that you can do what you did as a teenager and read the lyrics and listen to the record on your bedroom floor.
On your bedroom floor, on your dance set.
Yeah,
While rolling a joint on the cover.
that's it.
Yeah.
You can use bits as roach card, that's fine. The cover's useful.
So the cover of the book is the perfect weight for a roach.
Basically, we measured that, and it's, you know, biodegradable. What more do you want?
This discussion's already gone down a straight path. It's all your fault, Lloyd-Jones. So. And the album's been out for a little while now. So
For a month and a day.
a month and oh god, yes, it has. hasn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
And it's people seem to be liking it. So-
I'm thrilled. It's already gone much better than I was expecting. Not that I had low expectations, but it's it's been picked up in more places than I thought, and all the reviews have been lovely.
They have. Yeah.
I don't think I've had a day since the album was launched where it hasn't appeared in my newsfeed on Facebook through one media or another.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
Mainly
fantastic.
Joe, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously it's just
To be
Joe.
fair, it's the machine over here.
It's the machine.
But there has been literally a review or a play or a mention or something every day.
Yeah,
there
there really
hasn't
has.
been a day when something hasn't happened, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
Expecting lull days and it hasn't happened.
we're about to come into the time when all the sort of most of the printed press reviews are going to start happening as well,
That's
like all the prog stuff.
exciting.
How does it feel to be accepted into the prog community?
It was really emotional. It was really emotional to go, oh my god, you know, having listened to all these amazing people for years, suddenly you're in there as well. It's,
Actually, that leads me
fantastic.
to one of my favourite questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you were forced, twisted up behind your back,
Yes.
what genre are you? Are you a
Oh,
folk
gosh.
artist?
Oh, we've
Yeah,
discussed this,
yeah.
haven't we? We
Well,
have discussed this.
What are you?
It's really, I don't know what to say to people, even if they did pull my arm up behind my back or even put, you know, torture implements on me. I have no idea
What
to
about
say.
bamboo shoots at fingernails?
Water torture.
Stop
I think
talking about torture.
What I've said to
Okay.
people is that because I've had to say something other than music, which is what I like to call it,
Yeah.
is that I've said it's progressive indie folk or dream folk because it goes on long, you know, it does progress. I don't tend to write, you know, typical chorus, verse songs. I do some, but I like songs that are a journey, and that's what progressive really is. It's something that doesn't keep repeating itself. It goes off somewhere else, and that's all I can think of. You know, it's not Puritan prog, and it's not Puritan folk, and it's not Puritan pop. It's sort of, it's all my influences really. So I've had so many prog influences, indie influences, folk influences, country influences, rock influences. So they're all a little bit in there.
Can we cut the country influences?
Yeah, yeah.
We don't want
No,
that.
I'm
no,
sorry
no.
about that. But that did happen.
I'm fine with
And-
that.
When I was in Ireland, can I just tell you briefly?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was in Ireland. I was anti-country to the highest degree you wouldn't believe. But it's so popular in Ireland, and so I heard lots and lots of people playing it. And I really fell in love with Tim Buckley, who's not country at all,
No.
he's folk artist, but he definitely draws from some country elements. And I started to get into Patty Griffiths, who's amazing. And I suddenly realised that the root of a lot of the music I like does have its basis in country. So I was like, I finally have to I'm broken. You
So
know,
I'm going to be a
give it-
complete arse here and say
Yeah.
I think it's the other way around. I think a lot of
Yes, I think it's
modern
both
American
ways.
country
Yes.
takes its influence from the Americana of Tim Buckley
Yes.
and artists like that,
Yes.
and dilutes the nasty countryness, not the other way around. I don't think that Tim Buckley was country. I think that
No, he
country has drawn
wasn't.
from Tim Buckley.
Yes.
Modern
Country.
country.
Well, country is drawn from folk, hasn't it? Basically.
But
So if
recently, very much.
Yes, so if you see that, but I don't know. Like, I really came to appreciate Townes Van Zandt as a songwriter. I mean, I think he's amazing. And then Steve Earle, who was to me such a typical country sound. But actually, when you see how he's written his songs, he has this genius ability to say an entire scene and story in like 5 words. And to me, I thought that's so clever. That's not easy. So,
And he didn't even write "Baby Went to Heaven" in a DC town.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of. You see, there's good and bad, isn't there? In all genres. What can we say?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why should people come to your album? What does your album
Yeah.
offer people?
Why should they? Oh gosh, so I've got to be like the snake oil salesman now.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, if they're drawn to hearing something a bit different, if they just want to hear something that's a bit imaginative or not what they're expecting, I would say, it's like Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that could happen? Like, just try it out. I think if you like all those elements we've been
The
talking
soft drinks
about,
are available.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
I think if you like any elements of poetry, if you like, classical, folk, prog, any indie, any of those, there's a bit of everything in there. So I don't know what to say. I think if just see if you like it.
It's very clear that a lot of prog fans, and I suspect it's prog fans that will be listening to this.
Yeah.
If anybody listens to this, in the main, I think prog fans have shown that they've been drawn to it.
Definitely.
And I think
yeah.
if we get you in front of a prog audience,
Yes.
they will enjoy it a lot, I think.
I hope so.
But it's not prog.
So I like things that are like landscapes of sound. I think you can paint with sound. So I love it when people do that. That's kind of what we tried to do.
And I suppose with your album, because it's on Spotify and Amazon
Yes.
Thingy, that's a new thing. That's
Yeah,
called Amazon
Thingy.
Amazon
Amazon
Thingy.
I'm signed up to
and
them.
Apple Music
And
thingy.
Apple Music, which is the thing that we use most in your
Yeah.
studio.
It's
isn't
so
it?
much better than Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Amazon Thingy.
Yeah, Amazon Thingy is really good. But then people can sort of dip in and see if they like it.
They
which is-
can try it for free. That's the modern
or for
way now.
nearly free.
For nearly free.
Well, it's
nearly
free as
yeah.
far as I can.
This obviously isn't relevant, but Amazon Prime always sounds to me like one of the Transformers.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Just
yeah.
throwing that in there.
Yeah. Okay. I think that will do actually.
I think
that's
probably
great.
will.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with the album and
Thank you.
well, I've still got quite a
I'm
lot of
not
work to do.
sure that the record label should be saying good luck to the artist.
Yeah, you're on your
that's,
own over there.
That's
Good
kind
luck.
of a bit of a, I'm going to cut you adrift now.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Bye.
Hope it goes well.
I think we should be
Right,
saying,
it's a postcard.
worry about nothing.
Yeah.
We're going
It's
to
all
make
under
you a star, darling.
Well, I'm already an internationally famous singer according to the Ledbury Fringe Chalk.
Okay, so over the last week or so, I've been recording backing vocals on the forthcoming Midnight Sun album. And this led to a conversation about the nature of backing vocals. And we started looking at different albums and different styles of backing vocals. And it's really not as straightforward as it first appears.
Yeah, so we had a look at a few bands and how they treat backing vocals and different type of backing vocals you can have. It's not comprehensive, but
It's not even educated.
it's just us talking pants, isn't it? As per
It
usual.
is Hugh and Lambsie talking pants.
But here it is, and we started off by talking about the track "Devil at the Crossroads" by Magenta. So here's a little snippet of that.
Given the time for
Given the time for freedom, when my
So I called that one A Cappella Surprise, which makes it sound like an ice cream in a good way.
It is the surprise that you can't hear the backing vocals when the music's playing.
Well, that's not the point. The point is the point is to focus on. It's a fair point, actually. The point is to focus on the little a cappella section.
Okay.
So this is bands use this quite a lot, particularly in prog, where you'll hear there may be a section with no backing vocals, and then you lose all instrumentation, and then you have a little section with either just a lead vocal or a backing vocal. I don't know what that means in the great scheme of things. It's just a little interesting feature.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Is that all you can think of to say about it?
Well, there is a band who shall remain nameless, who you know I'm not keen on, who use this technique all the time, to the point that it drives me to the bar.
Yeah, I think it's best used as a surprise tactic.
Yeah, I think that little clip in that magenta works brilliantly,
And
but it is easily overused, I think, easily overdone.
And when they play that track live, which they do quite a lot, because it's one of the tracks that they still feature from the 27 Club.
So 27 Club album, is it?
The 27 Club album, yeah. When they play it live, it's very effective, because they do the backing vocal bit live. It's a 3-part harmony. Now Magenta aren't, I suppose, best known for their backing vocals, but when they do that section live, it's just very effective. It's a kind of tension release thing, which is kind of
A musical ejaculation.
musical ejaculation. You heard it here first, folks. Now I've called this one lead vocal. What lead vocal? That's another technique I like, and Steve Hackett uses it quite a lot. Actually, it was where the entire verse, there's no lead vocal at all on the verse. The entire verse is all. Actually, there is a lead vocal in there, but it's hard to pick out.
I would disagree, because the lead vocal is lead, because the harmony is slightly lower in the mix.
It is, but also I always used to find it fun as a kid. I suppose now still. Picking out the lead vocal from that, because the other backing vocals are a little bit lower in the mix, a teensy bit. So you can actually pick out a lead vocal from the backing vocals in there and come up with your own lead vocal. But I always just find it actually quite good fun doing that, rather than it being something that used to irritate me. And obviously in that track, Pete Hicks is singing the lead vocals. That's don't think I said the name of the track, did it? It's did it? Time to Get Out by Steve Hackett from the Defector album. That's Year of the Knife by Tears for Fears, and I put that in because it's an example of using female backing vocalists against the male vocal, which is of course ubiquitous in rock and pop music.
It is. I think in this particular instance, it's not a straight backing vocal. It's actually a vocal part, because it's not backing a lead vocal.
Yeah,
it's a choral part.
It is.
It is a choral part, so it's almost gospel, and very popular with predominantly pop bands, but a lot of rock bands, as you say.
Well, Pink Floyd obviously being the obvious one. It's not used a huge amount in prog, which tends to be very masculine. You tend to get female lead vocalists.
A lot of female lead vocalists at the moment, but I think with prog bands, you do have a slight issue that there are very few prog bands who are actually big enough in stature to travel with a 3-piece choral backing vocal group.
That's true. But of course, because all the Floyd tribute bands do. It's interesting because obviously Tears for Fears, not technically a prog band, but there's a lot of preg. There's a lot of preg on the Seeds of Love album. The track before it, which is Swords and Knives, has a great kind of dual lead vocal between Roland Dorsabal and Tessa Niles,
Oh,
who is one. She's retired now, I think, but she lives in South Africa, amazingly. And in fact, her book about being a backing vocalist is really good, a really fast, easy read. But her life on the road as a backing vocalist with the Police and with Robbie Williams and with Tears for Fears and stuff like that is really fascinating. So that's that track.
I'll have to check that out.
Yes.
White noise of the sky. White noise of the sky.
So Hugh and I have actually just had an argument about not an argument, a discussion. Is this a 5-minute argument or is it a 10-minute discussion about the track the snippet you just heard from Firefly Burning? He's right in that I thought the male voices were singing in unison for the entire thing, and there is a harmony at the end. Also, Hugh's raised the issue is whether it is male voices singing in unison or whether it's just one male voice with reverb and...
Well, it's an interesting vocal technique. When you're recording a lead vocal, you'll quite often record exactly the same thing twice, so that whoever's mixing it has the option of panning the voices, but it's the same part. And also putting two voices together, because you can't be 100% accurate, it makes it sound slightly thicker. And in fact, they used to call it double tracking. And in fact, I think at one time there was actually...
Double tracking something completely different.
No.
I thought double tracking was literally two voices, a voice and then another voice sang over the top.
Yes. That's what I mean. You record a vocal twice. What I'm saying is that what we were listening to with Firefly Burning there, one vocalist could have actually just recorded it twice.
Yes. But that still counts, though. It's more than one male voice, isn't it? Even if it's the same person.
No, I would say not. I don't know. That's a tricky one.
Even if it's the same person doing it.
You said this was going to be fun, and I'm having to think of everything.
Joe! Released by Yes from the Tornado album, which is not most Yes fans' favourite album, but it was my gateway album to Yes, and also when I think a lot of people have like their favourite little moments in prog or in music generally, really. And one of my favourite moments is that, because it's a little moment of lead vocal and backing vocal, and it's the moment that goes Free Durham's March. It's the harmony there. It's like a shivers down my spine moment. Clearly not for you, and probably not for most people. But it's a very individual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
I genuinely don't know how many voices are in there. I mean, Yes are known for their 3-part vocal sections.
But Chris Squire had a fine voice.
Yes, but
he sang brilliantly.
But Steve Howar's also on there, and of course he doesn't have a fine voice. But within the 3-part structure that they used, his voice works very well. I couldn't tell you whether he's in that.
I actually, just listening to it there, only detected 2 voices. I thought I could hear John Anderson. I thought I could hear one voice behind, just as thought was Chris Squire. But
there's certainly more than 2 parts. Yeah, again, Yes, mix up how they use the voices, and I suspect, well, I'm not certain, I should be, because I'm writing a book on this sort of thing. But, well, no, the one thing I do know is that Yes mixed up quite a lot how they use backing vocals. So you'll hear in some Yes tracks, it's all John Anderson. Sometimes you'll hear it's John Anderson, Chris Squire, and Steve Howe. Sometimes this is assuming that it's a version of the band that's got Steve Howe in, of course. And then sometimes you'll hear John Anderson and Chris Squire mixing up the vocals. So there's all kinds of things. I mean, obviously Yes are well known for their backing vocals. But that's one of my favourite moments. it's the, as I say, it's the Freedoms March thing. It's just that harmony there. So it shivers down my spine.
Whereabouts is that?
It's right at the start, actually. Self-produced. Imagine all my hands on the tiller. So that was, I think that was the last piece for me, but you wanted to talk about...
well, my favourite backing vocals ever are Roger Taylor's backing vocal on March of the White Queen by Queen.
Let's have a little listen
which
to
is
that.
kind of a choral type effect.
White queen walks and the night grows pale. Stars of loveliness
I remember hearing that for the first time, and that absolutely sent shivers down my spine.
So that, in fact, is White Queen as it began.
Yeah.
By Queen from Queen 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. There's that Roger Taylor's high vocal.
Yeah, and
he's very clever, very good at that.
It's a ridiculously clear falsetto, and it's as powerful as many people's natural voices, not non-falsetto voices. Joe Payne has the same ability, that to be able to project a beautifully clear falsetto as strongly as that. It's something I admire and envy greatly.
Yes, it was a bit of a Queen trademark. I don't think I've ever sat down and listened to Queen 2.
Queen 2 is my favourite Queen album.
Because I've never been a world's biggest Queen fan. A lot of the albums, they kind of passed me by, really. I might have heard them in passing, but I've never sat down and listened to the whole thing.
Going back to that thing about music affecting you, and you with that harmony on the Yes song.
Yeah.
The string section in the middle of The Riverman by Nick Drake, I think is one of the most affecting pieces of music ever.
Yeah, I know the piece you mean.
Yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. But then again, sometimes it's all about time and place. Music's a funny old thing, isn't it?
It's a funny old thing.
We were talking about backing vocals, and I wanted to come on and talk to your personal experience about backing vocalists as a vocalist, which I believe you are.
Indeed, I am. Well, apparently.
So they say.
Allegedly.
So they say.
I use the term very loosely.
So they tell me.
Well, what do you mean, my personal experience? Well, my personal experience of doing backing vocals or of working with backing vocalists?
I was asking. Oh well, both really. I was. We almost had this discussion a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about the stage you're at with the Midnight Sun album, which at time of recording was moving towards the end stage in terms of its recording.
It is. We've finally we've put down 5 out of 6 lead vocals, and funnily enough, given that we're talking about backing vocals, now done the backing vocals on 2, which means I still have some to do, but they're relatively small jobs in the big scheme of things, as it were.
So I was going to say, what's your approach to backing vocals? Do you spend a lot of time arranging your backing vocals, or are you just chucking down a couple of harmonies?
No, the way I've always worked is after the lead vocal is down, I'll get a very rough copy of that, probably not even mixed, just whatever the backing track is at that stage, with my lead vocal on, and I will play it to death in the car.
Yeah.
And sing along to it very loudly, to the annoyance of other motorists, I'm sure. And tinker with harmonies until I have something that I think will work. And then what I'll usually do is actually record 2 or 3 different ideas and then leave it to Ian to either mix them together and use them all, or dump one and keep one, or whatever. And then, of course, Ian has a fabulous, almost falsetto voice. He's got a very high voice. So he will then quite often put top parts on.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of build it up that way. And then one thing leads to another. If I go back the following week and find that Ian has refined my backing vocals and settled on the bits he thinks works, and then added something to it, and of course that's likely to spark off a new idea, and quite often I'll put another layer on top then, or I think with the Midnight Sun album, I think there's a slight possibility we might actually draft in some outside help at the last minute. There's a couple of places where I'd really like to hear a female voice. Whether we will, whether we won't, we've been talking about it. Whether we do or don't, I don't know, but I'd like to, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll talk about that when we stop recording. So is your backing vocal approach, is it based around what you've laid down as a lead vocal? Or do you suddenly go, oh, that bit could do with some nice backing vocals there, even though there's no vocal in there at all?
Very rarely that. It's usually the lead vocal that will spark the idea for the backing vocal. There have been some tracks I've recorded in the past where I wish I'd done more. I guested on an album and had some great ideas for the backing vocals, but thought it would be cheeky to send backing vocals as well as the lead vocal. And I wish I had now, because I think a couple of the ideas I had were quite good.
You're talking about the Cosmocraft album?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Although having said that, especially the remixed version of the album, I think Robin's did a fantastic job anyway. So actually, if I had sent in backing vocals, it probably wouldn't have got used anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think Robin had some very strong ideas of his own, and I think the result was fantastic. So it probably panned out for the best. I've done some stuff that I like particularly, which I don't know how you describe it, almost comedic bits on a song called I think it was Star on the Also Eden album. It's Kind of You to Ask. And I've been guilty of doing a couple of quite odd things like that. I put my best Sid James impression. That's it. Into a song called Pandora on the About Time album. And that all comes from the main vocal. I've recorded the main vocal and we've listened back to it. There's been little gaps where we felt it wanted something, but it didn't necessarily want to be a strong sung part. Yeah, it did a lot of that actually, and It's Kind of You to Ask. Ian and I had a lot of fun in the studio with that.
So that was it. I hope that wasn't complete and utter drivel as well. Well, it was complete utter drivel, wasn't it?
It was pants.
But it was pants.
It was complete pants.
We are going to leave you now with a track by Talitha Rise. So this is a track from an abandoned orchid house. It's called The Lake, and it's a good indicator of what the album's all about. So we hope you enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
Next time, pant wearers.
Bye.
Grace lives on this lake. Even the butterflies will break. Catch them when they fall with swallowtails and cannonballs. You're fighting inside a lot, but catching yellow rays soaked in blood. Some things never change. We see beyond the veil, beyond the distance. Following must be tried. Cut up and remember, I surrender. Catching tails
Well, Bailey was the name of Judy Zing's daughter, isn't it? Perfectly.
Actually, babe, in fairness, mate, I heard that.
Yeah.